30, 31 minutes. How and why? How and why? And welcome back to another part of Green Walk through another part of Derverse story, part of the Derverse, episode 2, the Derverse timeline. I'm Despline. I'm sorry. I'm Despline, and here we are doing another part. Let's continue. So yeah, I'm moving on to that story. Kind of broke it off, but out of time. Out of time. Pretty much what happened next was she owned me. You know that time in Battlefield, which never happens to me by the way. Totally. You know that time in Battlefield or another infantry game with tanks or tactical infantry game with tanks, and you're in your tank minding your own business. You get fighting ton of tanks, and then this random girl jumps on your tanks. Jump on your tank. Rips open the back hatch and just shoots the engine a billion times. Because that's the only way she could feasibly kill. That's the only way she could feasibly kill a sperm whale tank, which is demonstrated by the scene prior where I just took out a good dozen vehicles of varying tonnages and purposes. Um, which is what basically a light tank is a light tank is a lighter tank that's a scout that goes fast. A medium tank is a medium thing that can practically do everything. Um, and is a good size as medium. The medium is medium. Heavy is a bigger tank, heavier armor, bigger gun, slower typically. And for assaulting, pushing its way through things slowly, being a wall, stuff like that. Super heavies are heavy tanks just on steroids. And you don't get bigger than that because you don't really need to. But anyway, and smaller tanks are tank cats, which are typically unmanned vehicles at this point. Unmanned still used because that's just what you say. So yeah. But anyway, so moving on. So basically, she just got up. She just got up. Because she has she has at most a 20 millimeter cannon, at least a 50 cal. My tank, I mean, the Spermal tank is meant to shrug off anything but the largest tank destroyers, which are used by the pirates, and they're called megalodons because shark versus whale, the classic fight. And yeah, um, and it's just a gigantic ramjet powered gun. A ramjet gun, or whatever it's called, I forgot what it's actually called, but it's similar to that effect. Is what a V3 is. The V1 buzz bomb, the V2 rocket. Well, the Germans made the V3, which was this gigantic gun that fired rounds super far and super fast using jets to push it. And that's what it is, and it's just the gigantic thing of death, which one shots the sperm whale. Its only sole purpose in existing is to do that and to break Green and Blue defenses. Because the pirates are the bane to Green and Blue. They're the only people that can fight them in one-on-one matches, typically. And typically know how to fight them. They fight us, not them, us. So yeah. But anyway, we'll get to pirates eventually. Um, but Green and Blue and the Pirates have like a secret-ish war going on. Everyone knows about it, but it's like it doesn't like our war does not matter. Actually, that's a perfect idea for what I could do for my first their story, which is going 2040, go into the golden era, go to 2040, and make a story with me versus pirates, the classic tale, of what I did when I was a kid. But moving on. So yeah, it's that happened, and when I was just sitting there thinking about how I was defeated in the super heavy tank, which by the way, that was the only time ever in this, because spermal heavies were used for the entirety of this timeline after that point. That was the first time a spermal super heavy was ever beaten in a 1-to-1 fight. Never was with me in it. And I was just thinking there, while you hear the beeping of the hydrogen boiling, Which the with hydrogen tech, because it does store hydrogen normally, in normally separately as you do in a hydrogen car, for example. It's boiling, and then I'm like, I'm I'm in. Wow, that was I'm in. Yeah, I'm in love. And CS looks up. He's typically driver, which is bomb left. Biggest plane. Um, Actually, driver in the tank. No, it only makes sense because it's a plane in bomb left. He looks up. British should win this time. He looks up and like, sir, he just tried to kill you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I love her. And then basically we eject, which basically ejection for a thermal super heavy is lifting the entire cockpit out of the tank with jets and sending it like a mile off or something. So you're out of the way of any potential harm to befall the tank. We have a similar mantra in Green and Blue to the Israelis, where survivability is priority, but we won't dampen the tank's effectiveness by putting the engine in the front. Because what are you gonna do when you lose your engine? Oh, you're gonna sit there and get murdered by planes and stuff. Instead of, oh, what you gonna do if you get pinned by your front? You hope you didn't get shot. You hope your driver doesn't get shot, and you go and you immediately reverse out of there. Or if the driver gets shot, you get in his seat and you drive out of there with the driver hopefully still alive. You don't sit there and be dead by something else. The thing is, it's Israeli. They're fighting defensive wars. Um, so yeah, but Green and Blue doesn't fight defensive wars, so he can't. So you don't have the luxury of that way of thinking. And besides, you just have insane amounts of armor anyway. Um, and then the cockpit cockpit or fine compartment has just insane armor. And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I'm sorry to Americans and everyone else who drives on the right side. Drives on the correct side of the road. Um, it only make the Spermal cockpit only makes sense to me with the driver on the left, gunner on the gunner on the right, driver on the left, gunner on the right. Which, by the way, is another image. Basically, I'm using. Oh, by the way, the software I used for this image, for this one, is FreeCast. Where are you, FreeCast? Is not that. No. It's somewhere on there. Or not. It's gone. If you see it, please let me know. Is FreeCast. Oh, right there. FreeCAD. It's FreeCAD. And another software, Mecha Voxel, which is pretty cool. I love it. I actually might make a game out of it, but this is Mecha Voxel, and it's pretty much Stone Hearth. Yeah. It's basically just, it's a CAD in which you use voxels, which is really good for just getting a design out there or pixel art. Or voxel art. And yeah. This is what the Spermo Super Heavy looks like in 3D and voxel form. I made this just to get the idea in my head in order to go make the free cat what's even free cat? Wait, hold on. There's something or other. No, this is free cat. To be the free cat one. As you can see, this is the rough idea. This right here, the light gray, are the twin, which I don't think, which is actually not even necessary in the main design because of how the armor actually slopes. But it's basically a railgun the size of a 50 cal. Not even that, it's smaller because it doesn't need to be any bigger than that. Whoops, wrong way. Solar. Moving on. This is front view. You can see the twin guns right there and the general profile. This is what we're actually interested in. This is the cutout. As you can see right here, this is what it looks like in more 3D form, and how much insane room you get. Like here's the commander. The commander sits raised above the pilot and the gunner, or the driver because it's a tank. The driver and the gunner. And the gunner controls the main guns. Can switch to the top guns if need be. In fact, everyone can switch to the top guns. It's free. In fact, your commander's commander can switch to the top guns. The guy back at base, that guy? Yeah, he can switch to the top guns if he wants to, if given permission by the commander. in order to have a fourth guy. Or otherwise, you have a fourth crewman who's doing nothing all day but manning that gun. So the commander mans that gun if he wants to, or commands, typical commander stuff. Commander can also do the driving function and the gunning function. So this is actually a one-person tank, really. It's just you have other people to keep each other busy, as well as have a driver to drive, a gunner to gun, a commander to command, and shoot the personnel thing, anti-personnel and the anti-aircraft thing. And also later variants have like a laser suite around it, like a laser array to shoot down missiles and stuff like that. Actually, this one probably even has it because it's 20 something or other, 26. So yeah. Here's the back. The back, as you can see, the back, as you can see, is actually longer than the front. Steeper angle. It's also thinner because there's more stuff in it or something like that. We'll get, I'll get more into the details once I actually get into the details. I don't know the details right now, but those are just my thoughts. But anyway, so yeah, that's how me and Luck met in the Derverse. And then in 2030, Green and Blue their city number one, there's Island, the first their city ever of all time, at least numbered. There might be a their city zeros part of Jacksonville, like Jacksonville has a couple of cities in it, like Jacksonville, Jack's Beach. It has a metropolitan, that has a place, you know, a thing. In which it's a city, but you're in the city, you're in the same city, kind of ish, not really. Well, like Orange Park, and then like their city be one of them. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. As Zero's a prototype, and then there's Island is founded in 2030. 2030, their luck had 10 kids. Yeah, let's move on. No, no, I'm going to explain it to you because it needs explaining. Okay, so why 2030 have kids? Well, two reasons. One, because actually number one is because I wanted to put my kids in between now, basically before the fall. I wanted to have them all grown up before the fall because I don't want that kind of tragedy to happen. I don't want the childhood to be cut short because of the fall. I want them to have a full childhood and even a bit of a young adulthood before the fall, especially because they're actually my generals, kind of like for example, you play Command and Conquer generals, and you have the separate sub factions. They would be my sub factions. Like for example, one of my kids would be the carrier commander, of the Sea Arm, and then our Navy, and then another kid would be the battleship arm of the Sea Arm with the miniguns and stuff like that, the sea miniguns, and stuff like that. And then one would be light infantry with lighter power armor, recon, bikini, or the male variant, which is he's wearing a tank top because that's as much male nudity as I get, um, as I like. So yeah, that's that. Basically, he's Colonel Bird with a shirt on, if you want to put it that way. He's Colonel Burden with a shirt on. Which, by the way, if you never questioned Colonel Burden or any of those action movie heroes, why do you question Luck, who wears far more clothing in fiction than she does in real life? I mean, like, seriously? Um, I mean, if you ever look up pictures of Lady Luck, if you're under 18, don't do it. Don't do it. Um, it's that. So, yeah. But anyway. So moving on. 10 kids because that's the why win. Another why win is because my physical age at this time, I would be 35 when they were born. 35 is getting up there in childbearing ages. Even for men and women have the same genetic deterioration, let's say. So, or at least my sister said so. And like, basically, you want to have kids by 40. You can't have kids after 40, but you don't know after that point. You don't know. Well, they could turn out like me. I turned out like me because I turned out like, well, they could turn out sickly and stuff like that. Again, like me. So yeah. Um. So yeah, the reason for 10 kids is because I need them to man my forces and woman my forces as well. And basically, it's $5 Spice Sons. By the way, moving on to 2030 event, Bermuda Triangle is discovered. Mid-space golden era term magic. By the way, they don't have. By the way, they don't have proper pronunciation as we're waiting on the comma. They don't have proper pronunciation, or them that word. Uh, because as you can see, I can't fit normally. I imagine having everything proper punctuation. That's what I want. That's the word I'm looking for. But going back to it, magic or spirit tech. Middle age, mid space golden era term, magic or spirit tech. Yeah, pretty much this is the opposite of Star Trek. And what I hope to do with the world. And what the Unity hopes to do with the world one day. But I'll be honest with you, the Unity is kind of scared to because of the, well, that one time with witch trials, that thing. People thinking religion, people think priests are weird even. The weird days we live in. But things are getting better for us anyway. Um, Stuff like that. You get the idea. Mediums. Like keyword mediums. Um, but yeah. But pretty much, you know that place you go to. And you know what the slipstream drive does? It sends you into another dimension. Kind of. In the Derverse, it's in the Derverse it uses real terms of spirit world, and pretty much all the special sci-fi technology, or what they're simply doing, is accessing the spirit world, as in they're magic wands, but computerized and 21st century wise. It's way more complex than that, but you get the idea. Um, it's like a very simple understanding is what it is. More complex understanding is look up, is reading for more information, is Shadowrun, D&D even. Um, what you might know is War 40k Chaos, because in the world chaos is a good thing. Oh, actually, chaos is the basically black magic comes from a bad place. Good magic comes from God. It's that simple. Leave it at that for right this second. Or bad magic comes from like the building blocks of how universes are formed. And white magic comes from God directly, which is how it works in Demon Souls even. So a lot of people got it right. To different extents. But anyway, moving on to 2031. And then the funny thing is basically it's coming out of the modern day, so like this is near future. So so instead of just straight up calling it what it is, in order to ease it in to the common, ease it into the common, um, ease it into the average person and the general population, we call it something. We call it something sci-fi because that makes more sense than magic, apparently. Um, but yeah. All right, so moving on to 2031. Green and Blue Mobile Base Constructor (MBC). I'll give you a couple guesses on what that is. Hint: it involves what watches. Okay, give up. It's an MCB from Command and Conquer. It's all. That's all it is. It's just using sexual technology that works. That makes more sense to me. Instead of Command Conquer magic. It's all it is. Oh, and by the way, 2032, dear Luck had 2 more kids. Dot, dot. Alright, so that'll be our first video. That'll be our first part. Thanks for watching. Do appreciate watching this video out to me. Allow me if you were to support my Patreon. In doing so, fund this channel and my life. For me doing more with this and just simply telling you about it. And yeah. And also, Being my watcher and also being and also if you can't support my Patreon, so if you don't want to, being my watcher on YouTube is more than amazing on its own. Thank you all. Take time take time out of the day to watch these videos. Love y'all. All right, so that'll be for this video. Thanks for watching, and I guess see you. And